continuing the lecture on graphing lines. Once again, when we go back and look, this value here is my slope, which describes the slant of the line. The value that's not with x has a different name and a different meaning. This one who is not with x is going to be my y-intercept, and a y-intercept is an ordered pair. So we want to kind of not draw these tables every time. We want to be able to look at an equation and somewhat tell about its graph. So my slope-intercept form is y equals mx plus b. M will be a number. M, the number in front of x, will be called the slope, which is also known as rate of change, which will tell me about the slant of my graph. Is it slanted upward, downward? Is it shallow, or is it steep? B, on the other hand, is known as my y-intercept. It will be a value, and it will just tell me where I cross my y-axis at. So without building a table, and according to my formula, m is sitting in front of x. The value is sitting in front of x is 2/3. The value sitting after the x is a 1. So if I want to plot this line, graph this line, I will plot these points. So first of all, I need to have a starting position. I need to know where to rise and run from. So I need to have a starting location, and that's my y-intercept. 0, 1 is my starting location. From that starting location, I'm going to apply the directions for my slope, or the slant, and it says to rise 2, which are positive, and run 3 in the positive direction. Now if I want to graph a third point just as a check, I can also move down 2 and to the left 3. Let's see, down 2 and to the left 3. Two negatives cancel and again become a positive. So if I make a dot there, you can see that connecting those, I form a line. Trying a second one. Again, you want to find out who is in front of x. That would be -3. And my y-intercept is +5. I need a place to start before I apply my slope. My start is at 0, 5. So I'm up at this location. Again, that y-axis is just a number line running vertically. The x-axis is a number line, and it runs horizontal. Now if I want to apply the slope, I need directions rise over run. So I'm going to put a 1 underneath there because those fractions, -3 divided by 1 is the same as -3. So we like to see slope sometimes as a fraction, and that tells me the directions from my start point. It says -3. Rise -3 is telling me to go down 3 and a +1. Down 3 and over a +1. Down 3 and over. So notice that I move left to right. My slope is negative, and that appears on my graph. Now one special note, if you have y isolated, we will have y equals mx plus b. If you are given some equation, it's not in the form to graph to identify the slope and the y-intercept. What we must do here is rearrange. So what I'm going to do is move this to the other side of the equal sign so that y will be isolated. We do that by the inverse operation like we did in solving equations. Y is on the left, -2x plus 3 is on the right. So my slope for this would be -2, and my y is going to be 3, my y-intercept. So what you need to note is that your equation is in y equal mx plus b form before you ever try to identify the slope and the y-intercept.